What's the exact location of your emergency? What's the phone number you're calling from? Please respond to 31722 County 24 Boulevard. You got a traffic accident, one person injured.
Imagine that you have just received a page and that you are being asked to respond to an emergency. You feel very confident that you can handle almost any emergency situation. After all, you have completed all of the classroom training and you have experience in the field. But do you feel confident that you can find the location?
Hi, I'm Gary Freed. I'm the Emergency Management Director and the 911 Coordinator for Goodhue County. As the 911 Coordinator, I'm responsible for the Rural Addressing System, which is used to establish address locations for rural residences. These rural addresses are combined with addresses that we receive from the various cities throughout Goodhue County to form a database which is used by the Enhanced 911 System. The Enhanced 911 System provides the location information that you need to respond to an emergency.
In your position as a trained emergency responder, it is your responsibility to provide life-saving service in the quickest, most efficient manner possible. It is a fact that you and the knowledge that you possess may be the only thing standing between a person living or dying. It is a fact of life that in an emergency situation, seconds count.
The training video you are about to see was designed to help you understand the Rural Addressing System. The Rural Addressing System was designed to help emergency response organizations quickly locate a rural resident. A thorough understanding of this system will help your organization shave life-saving seconds off of your response times.
In 1975, a group of local fire chiefs, other responders, and township officers recognized the difficulty of locating a rural resident during an emergency situation. They formed the Rural Identification Committee and developed the fire number system. As more and more people began to move into the county setting, the fire number system had difficulty expanding to accommodate the density of the dwellings. Another problem was that people generally couldn't remember their numbers when they did have a problem. In 1987, the Rural Identification Committee decided to address the county. One of the deciding factors was that the county was planning to update their basic 911 system to a computer-enhanced system which could provide caller names, locations, service provider, and maps. For the E911 to work properly, the fire numbers would have to be replaced with a standardized address system. This would also allow people to use one address to receive their mail. It would establish junction signs to make the roads easier to find, and it would give a location, even if the caller was too young to give directions or unable to speak. In 1992, the address system was in place and operational. Every rural resident had been notified of their address and given instructions on changing their driver's license, etc. The post offices had dropped the rural route and box system, and all emergency response organizations had received classroom instruction on how to use the rural address system. In August of 1993, the fire number system was abandoned, and in October of 1993, the new enhanced 911 system was activated. What you see now are various graphics of the addressing system and how it has been set up in Goodhue County. The addressing system, as you know, is designed to provide address locations throughout the county for our rural residences. The first graph is actually a depiction of the avenue grid of the addressing system. Avenues run north and south. They start along the western border of Goodhue County and they get progressively larger in number going to the east. There are 10 grid lines in each mile, or one every 1/10 of a mile, starting along the western border and getting progressively larger going east. The numbers along the bottom show that the grid numbers get larger going east, and they also indicate the 10th Avenue, 20th Avenue, 30th Avenues, and so on. This shows you that Goodhue Avenue, or the western border, and 10th Avenue over here, 1 mile over, has those 10 additional grid lines inserted. These lines are used to name or number all of the roads that are in Goodhue County and to provide addresses to those residents. They give us the basis for our addressing system. This is the street grid, and it is set up exactly the same as the avenue grid, except that the street grid runs east and west. The lines shown are 1 mile apart, although the addressing system actually has 10 grid lines between each one shown. These grid lines get progressively larger when traveling from the north end of the county to the south end of our county. They begin with 160th Street in the northernmost part of our county because the street grid system is a continuation of the Dakota County system. The last street is 520th Street on the southernmost part of the county, which happens to be 52 miles from the state capital. Between each of the streets, there are actually 10 additional streets 1/10 of a mile apart. When you put the street and the avenue grid sections together, you get what effectively is a fishnet situation or a grid system. Each of these has their own indicator, the streets 160th down to 520th, and the avenues Goodhue Avenue over to 370th. We use that to identify locations and to assign addresses in our county. What you see here is 1 square mile with the 1/10 of a mile lines inserted. With this grid, you effectively get down to 1/10 of a mile squares in Goodhue County, each one being unique and each one giving us the ability to address a rural resident. Within that 1/10 of a mile that we talked about in our addressing scheme, the numbers of a person's house address would indicate where they are located in the grid. So if a rural resident was given the address of 11050 310th Street, it would indicate that the person lives on 310th Street, and you would know that they are located along the 310th Street grid line. Their house number would be determined by the closest crossing avenue, in this case 110th Avenue, as indicated in the first numbers of the address 110. Between the 1/10 of a mile lines, there are 100 pre-established addresses. These 100 addresses form the last 2 digits of the house number, in this example 50. That indicates that they are located halfway between the 1/10 of a mile lines, which would place them slightly east, 1/2 of 1/10 of a mile, of the junction of 110th Avenue and 310th Street. Not all of the streets in Goodhue County run straight east and west or north and south. Those that curve, wander, or meander have been given the name of boulevard or trail. A boulevard would indicate a major road such as a state, federal, or county highway that wanders or meanders. And a trail would indicate a township road that wanders or meanders. These curvy roads create a house numbering problem because it is difficult to consistently use the avenue or street grid to establish the cross street. So, in some cases, the grid used to develop the house numbers may change as you travel down the road. The names Boulevard and Trail were used to make you aware of this situation. So if you're traveling down County Road 1 and all of the numbers are running in sequence and you get to this point and go south, you'll notice that the numbers change dramatically, but they're still off of the grid system and they do give us an exact spot for each location. To recap, these are some facts about the addressing system. There are 100 addresses located in 1/10 of a mile. This can also be viewed as a percentage, and that would be the last 2 digits of the house number. 50 of these are even-numbered addresses, and 50 are odd-numbered addresses. The even-numbered addresses will be located on the east or south side of the road. The odd-numbered addresses will be located on the west or north side of the road. As you remember, the 0 point or the starting point for the avenues is the border between Rice and Goodhue counties. This 0 avenue is called Goodhue Avenue. If we travel 1/10 of a mile to the east, we will come to 1st Avenue. If we go 2/10 of a mile, we'll be at 2nd Avenue, and so on to the eastern border, which is 370th Avenue. To review the streets, the street grid is a continuance of the Dakota County street grid system, which increases from the north going to the south. So the 0 point is the state capital in the Dakota County system. 1/10 of a mile to the south is 1st Street, 2/10 is 2nd Street, etc. When this system reaches Goodhue County, the 1st street which touches the northern point of Welch Township is 160th Street. 1/10 of a mile to the south is 161st Street. 2/10 of a mile to the south is 162nd Street, etc. To the southernmost border of Goodhue County, which is 520th Street, making Goodhue County 36 miles long. So, as an example, if a person has an address of 12350 370th Street, the road which physically passes in front of their home is 370th Street. And you remember, streets run west to east. The crossroad to the west of their home would be 123rd Avenue. According to the addressing grid, the 123rd Avenue also tells you that they are 12.3 miles from the western border of the county. The county is 37 miles wide, and the avenue numbers get larger from the west to the east. The 50 part of the address tells you that the driveway is on the south side of 370th Street. Even numbers are on the east or south side of the road, and that it is 50% or almost one halfway to 124th Avenue.
We have explained the rural addressing system in detail, and we have given you many examples to help you understand the system. Now it's up to you. Add your knowledge of the addressing system to your list of professional skills. Use the same training techniques that have helped you become skilled in your emergency response organization to become fully proficient at finding an address in our county. Remember, all of the professional skills that you have struggled to develop over the years will mean nothing if you can't find the victim. It's a fact of life that in an emergency situation, seconds count.